Well, good evening and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Shop with Russ. This is season 3, and I'm a little slow sometimes, but I got to thinking about it when I made this hangout. In other words, I created it. When I wrote that down or typed it in, season 3, episode 3, I think it is, or episode 4, I went like, wow, it just dawned on me. Season 3, that means we've been doing this for this is the first of the third year, but this will be our third year of having the show. So I am really, really excited about that and very happy about that we've lasted this long. And I've got as many people that watch me and follow me as they do. So I appreciate that very much. And we've already got a house full over here in the chat section. These guys get in there at least about an hour before the show ever starts and starts chatting. So they were talking about milliput epoxy tonight and all kind of things, dinner, what they were cooking. So we've got Steve French from Wooden Stuff, Opa's Wood Shops over there, Katie Dotson, Jim Bashirs is over there. Let's see, Ken Moon from Ken Moon Pie. That's a pretty good one. I got to remember that one. And Steve Poidell's over there, Temple Board Turning. So thank y'all all for y'all being over there and watching. And tonight we're going to do something that is totally out of the norm. In other words, it's not going to be woodworking, which that's fine. I never said this was a total woodworking show anyway. But we're going over to Chad's shop, and he's going to show us how to do some powder coating. Chad, if you can, mute yourself because it keeps on coming back. Anyway, so he's going to be doing some powder coating and showing us how to powder coat, which is awesome. I've been wanting to try it, and I ran into Chad here about, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago, and then on a hangout, and we were talking, and I asked him about it, and he said, sure, I'd love to do the show. So we've got him tonight, and we'll introduce him. And I really don't have any announcements per se. I was going to talk about something with Shelly Cole, but she's not here tonight, so we'll just leave that until next week when she comes back. And the only thing that I do need to get out of the way right up front is my sponsors, Devobal Technologies. For web design, development, and hosting, visit devobal.com. They have done my website, and they also did the website giveaway and gave away 3 or 4 or 5 websites. So great guys to work with. And also Olivewood 2000 for beautiful, elegant, Holy Land olive wood. Go visit Olivewood 2000 on eBay today, and FastCap. For innovative products for the professional woodworker, go to fastcap.com. The guys that support me, all 3 of them, and FastCap especially gives away a lot of prizes for me to give away here on the Let's Talk Shop with Russ show. So go by and check them out and support them if you can. All right, let's get down to real quick and go ahead and have everybody introduce ourselves. So let's start on my right, and the first person on my right is Mr. Russ Meadows.
That's not normal for me to be first. Russ Meadows here. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube under Rusty Nails Woodshop. And quit waving to my wife.
And your volume, your mic's all broke up. It's really rough. Talk now. Let's see if we can hear you better.
How about that?
Yeah, it's a little bit better. It's still kind of a little broke, scratchy. But yeah, say hi. Tell her hi, Teresa. How you doing? All right, and then next is Mr. Jamie Page.
How you doing? You can find me on YouTube at JP Woodwork and Instagram and Twitter at JP_Woodwork. Oh, and Makers International Podcast.
Great. And next is Mr. John Schaffner.
Evening, everybody. I'm going to make this short and sweet because I got dogs barking all over the place here. John Schaffner. Find me on YouTube under my name and Facebook under my name. And pen turning marathon got going on, so keep an eye out for some pictures and probably a video coming up here real shortly. Thank you very much, Russ.
You're very much welcome. And Mark Lindsay's out there, and I knew I was trying to send somebody the link earlier. So Mark, if you can hear me, you're over in the chat. I'm fixing to send you the link to the panel. So get your butt over here on the panel. Anyway, it's my fault I didn't send him the link. I thought he was in the mass PM. So anyway, let's go next to Mr. Chris Ahern.
Hey guys, Chris Ahern, the Old Cranky Workshop. You find me on YouTube and Facebook at the Old Cranky Workshop. That's it. Back to you, Russ.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd be a little bit longer. And then
I can continue talking if you want.
next is Patrick from Patrick's Workshop. Hadn't seen you in a while. Patrick, how you doing?
I'm pretty good, man. Thanks for having me back on your show. My name's Patrick from Patrick's Workshop. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter under the same name, Patrick's Workshop. That's it.
Great. And then is go ahead and this is Andy's first time. We've had Patrick on the show before, but this is Mr. Andy Berkey's first time on the show. So how you doing, Andy?
You know, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You can find me in just about every corner of the internets, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook as Andy Berkey, blameberkey.com, and also on the Faking It podcast, which I'm very proud to be a part of.
Yes, cool. Very cool. And so when you post the link to where can we find the Faking It podcast?
You can find us on both SoundCloud and iTunes.
On iTunes, cool. Very good, very good. And then, hold on just a second. I got somebody PMing me over here. Okay, so Mark Lindsay is not going to be able to make it tonight on the panel. So that's what I was looking at. I forgot to send him the link earlier, and usually I write these stupid things down. And I'm going to tell you, if I don't write it down, I forget real quick. So you see, I even have my shop notes out. Or not shop notes, but my show notes. So I write things down to keep from forgetting, and I still forget. So that's getting pretty bad. All right, so next we're going to go over to Mr. Chad, and I cannot pronounce your last name, and I'm not even going to attempt to it, so don't mess it up. So just tell me how you pronounce your last name, please.
Not a problem at all, Russell. My last name's Gross Claus, like Santa Claus, and it's been mispronounced by everybody I've ever known my entire life, so that's something I'm extremely used to.
Grows Claus, right?
Like Santa Claus.
Cool. All right. So how you doing tonight, Chad?
Doing well. Looking forward to powder coating with you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little out of the norm. Usually we do woodworking, but like I said, I've never said the show was all about woodworking all the time. So, you know, when I talked to you the other night, I've been very interested in this for years, and then I had seen your video. I guess your video's a little been done for a while now on your powder coating your first Yeti cup or whatever.
Yeah, I actually put this particular cup. This is the first one I did. It was called How to Powder Coat a Yeti was the video, and we posted that about a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd seen that one, and that intrigued me. And then lo and behold, I run into you the other 2 or 3 weeks ago with hanging out with a couple of guys, and I was like, wow. And then I asked you, and you said, yeah, so that's great. So the show's yours. Okay,
well, so today I'm going to powder coat 2 cups. I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible, so in the limited time that we have, I can get through them. So the original 2 cups that I'm doing are going to be in a base of white. One's going to be a white cup with black, a second color of black, and it's just going to be, well, you'll see as it gets put together. And then the second cup is going to be a white base, but then I have just a very small logo, and that's going to get covered completely orange. So we're going to end up with an orange cup with a white logo and a white cup with a black logo. Orange cup, white logo, black logo, white cup. So that's what we're going to have. So I'm going to start off by powder coating these 2 cups right here. I've got them on my stands. I've made these for about a year now, and it just makes it easier for me to powder coat. If you guys have any questions, speak up as I'm doing this. I'd be happy to answer them.
Sure. Go over your equipment, your gun first, and tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so I've got about 4 different powder coating systems. I'm using this one right here because it's the lowest cost that I have on hand. and I figure it's kind of from an entry level, it's probably more reachable for most people. This is an Eastwood dual phase system. It's actually the same system that DeResta talked about in his Making It 100 Making It podcast, and then he also just did a video, how to pimp your hammer. So that's the same system that he's using. I have a Columbia Cool Coat system up here, and if I'm doing a lot of the same cup, I like to use that system because it's a really high quality system, and that's the gun for it. And then I also have this system, and this system's really nice. It's kind of a mid-level cost-wise, so somewhere in between the cost of, you can see that there, somewhere between the cost of this system and this system is this system. And the nice thing about this system, it uses, all of these use what are, it's using power in order to charge the molecule. And so that puts a negative charge on it, and it sticks to the cup that way. This one works kind of like when you had a friction balloon and you rub it on your head and you stick it to the wall. It's putting a charge on it, a positive charge, and it's blowing it out, and it collects differently. The benefit of that is if you're doing more than one coat, is much easier than with that particular system than it is with this system. There are some ways around it, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of do a workaround to make doing second coats a little bit easier with this system.
Now, can you give us an idea of the difference in price range?
This one, usually
exact.
I think it's about $129 normally, but you can get it on sale for about $109. They usually have like a 10% off pretty frequently. This system, I think it's about $800 or $900, and that system over there, the liquid powder coat concepts gun, is about $300.
Okay.
And actually on my Facebook page, or actually on my YouTube channel, I do have a code that you can use for 10% off on that system.
What are your thoughts on the Harbor Freight system? You seen that one before?
I do. Actually, I have one. I've got 90% of a video done on it. I just want to do a comparison. So I've got to have a day where I can sit down and do 3 different systems with the same powder, the same cup, everything. I want everything the same except for the gun. And that's the only thing that's kept me from finishing that video. There are some things I like about it. I haven't used it, but it does have a foot pedal. So this one I have to have a thumb switch. This one has a switch built in, and then the Harbor Freight has a foot switch, which I kind of like the idea of a foot switch, but it's I apologize, I keep looking at my screen.
That's all right.
It has a foot switch. So the foot switch, I think that's a nice feature, but I've heard mixed emotions. Some people get pretty good results with the Harbor Freight. Others feel like they're not getting quite as good results.
Yeah, but when you're all talking about the Harbor Freight, I know it's price-wise, but that gun, the first one that you showed us, entry level at $100 or so, that is not bad at all.
The Eastwood gun, right?
Yeah.
No, the Eastwood's got a nice system. They've got another system. It's a single phase. This is a dual phase. So you can see here, it's got see that switch right there?
Uh-huh.
So I can do a lower kilovolts, which makes it a little easier to do second coats. And then they have a single phase system, which is more similar to the Harbor Freight. The price difference is so negligible. I just jumped and got this one. If you're just doing parts and it doesn't have to have like a critical finish, then any system probably, as long as it gets the powder on there, will do. But if you're trying to do something that has more of a custom look, like powder coating a cup, I would say the better the system. If you want to do something like powder coating wheels for your car, again, step it up. The higher the quality, the better the finish.
Mm-hmm. We have got Andrew Skelly over in the chat section says Harbor Freight is junk, don't use it.
Yeah, so Andy he's my second. Like if you see the How to Powder Coat a Yeti, the back of the white head, that's Andy.
Okay.
And he has to be at home today. He was going to be here, but he started a liquid diet and he needs to be close to
Well, anyway, he's
Close to home.
he's definitely saying don't use the Harbor Freight. So
Yeah. You know, again, there's been people that have had success with it. And again, if you're just doing like little, you know, if I wanted to powder coat, you know, a hammer, for instance, and I didn't really care how perfect the finish is, I just wanted to protect the metal, I think it's going to do fine. But if you want to step it up and you want a nice, you know, clean finish, then you're gonna want to have a little bit nicer gun.
right.
So we ready to start?
Sure. Go ahead.
Any other questions? So I've got this. This is connected to a compressor. I have a gauge on here to keep it at about 8 to 10 psi. And the other thing that I do like about this is I can feather it, so I can put on as little powder as I want. And as you can see, nothing stuck to it because I did not have this depressed. So depress it, and it's like a magnet. And I'm doing this slow. I don't have my fan on because I'm trying to be considerate of everybody listening. So I'm trying to put as little powder on here as possible, just to make sure that I.
Normally you have your vent there sucking the dust out, right?
Exactly. So with this gun, I'm able to control the powder coming out really well, the amount, so it's not making a huge mess. Not ideal, but better than having.
Now, is there any, you know, like when you're spraying with naturally with oil-based paints or paints, there's a odor, so to speak. Is there an odor from the powder coating?
There's no, I mean, you can smell it slightly, but there's really no volatile organic compounds in it. So the VOCs are really, and then I take this, I got this match pen from a company, and basically it's used for checking finishes on paint jobs and stuff. And it tells me if I have any thin spots. It makes it real obvious. And on the next cup, I'll actually show that.
Now, Chad, is the possibility of runs exist with this? I mean, can you load it up so heavy that it'll sag?
Not normally sag. What you'll get if you get too many coats on, sometimes you can get what's called orange peel.
Gotcha.
But we don't really. It doesn't really run. It's very difficult to put so much powder on that you're going to get a run, and it doesn't move that much.
Is the orange peel similar to like wrinkle black, like wrinkle in the finish?
Actually, I actually have a product. Actually, the orange that I'm using today, it's Harley Davidson orange. It actually purposely puts kind of an orange peel look in the powder, but it gets kind of wrinkly. You can really notice it when you're doing heavy coats of a gloss or transparent.
Yeah, it's a textured look to the in paint. Orange peel is a textured look rather than being really nice and shiny and slick. It has like a textured look to it. That's what they call orange peel in paint.
Yeah, and it can be okay. So I purposely didn't finish this. I want you to be able to see the difference. So here it's nice and thick, and you see here how it's a different color.
A little bit.
Is that showing up?
Kind of blowing out.
Not really that
How about
much.
there? Can you see the shine?
Too bright.
Yeah, the light's too bright.
Yeah, we really can't tell that much.
Okay. Well, take my word for it then.
Okay.
We will.
All right.
Donna Presley wants, is a foot switch better or the button just a personal preference?
Well, you know, the systems come the way they come.
Okay.
If I had my preference, I'd probably do a foot pedal. But I think ultimately it's a personal preference. I think for this, you know, it's nice to have at least have one free hand because I'm turning this.
Right.
Couldn't you just hook it up?
Seeing a little bit of chatter over there in the chat section. So just to make sure everybody understands what powder coating is, it's a powder, and what he's doing is applying a charge to that cup. It's a metallic cup, and the powder therefore coming out is like, let's say positive, the cup is negative, so it naturally attracts over to the cup and sticks to the cup. Now, if he didn't have, like in the beginning when he didn't push that button, the powder doesn't want to stick to the metal.
and then you put it in the oven to bake it.
Right. Matt Haas from Awesome Wood Things is over there. Hi, Matt. Jim Bashirs is over there. Ken Moon's still over there. Opa from Opa's Wood Shops over there. Go ahead, Chad.
Yeah. Somebody did.
Chad, what's that texture like before you put it in the oven?
It's pretty smooth. I mean, I don't know. It's not as smooth as paint. It's obviously flat.
Now, once you release the magnetism, so to speak, the electricity, if you hit that thing or bumped it real hard, will all that stuff fall off?
It doesn't just fall off. It takes a little bit more than that. But if you bump it, it will definitely mark it. So I don't have any of these set up. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to do a partial cure on these. And
what's the temperature you're at in your oven?
I have the temperature set at about 400, and I'm going to check the cups because really the oven temperature is not the most important thing. It's kind of a starting point. What you're really trying to do is get the cup to a certain temperature, or the metal. And if you look on most of the products, and I've written it on this one, so it says 375 on here, and
right.
The directions on the packaging will say that. Usually some brands, it actually just has text sheets that they provide on the internet, but the temperature that the cup gets to is what's called the part metal temperature. And once it reaches that temperature, you try to hold it at that temperature until it's fully cured. If you're doing just a single coat, and a lot of parts that people would do would just be a single coat. I'm choosing to do 2 coats because I want to customize this.
Okay, now give us an idea. So you're going to run this at 400 degrees for how long?
I mean, yeah, this particular one I'm going to run.
Let's say that you're going to put that in there for the full amount of time to cure it. How long? What would be the temperature, and how long would about you put it in there for?
Okay, so the cup would go in, and then when it flows, or when it reaches part metal temperature on this, different brands have different directions. So on this particular product, when it hits part metal temperature, so when I look in there and I use I've got a couple of these around because I'm using them for different purposes, but this is going to tell me what the temperature is of the cup. Okay. And it's a laser.
Right.
And when it reaches part metal temperature, that's my starting point. Then I start counting down. So if I wanted to fully cure this particular cup, I would do, as soon as I saw that the cup had hit 400 degrees, I would let it stay at 400 for a total of 15 minutes. I'm going to do a 75 or 80% cure, so I'm going to let it go about 12 minutes. And after it hits part metal temperature, that way it's not fully cured. So when I put the second coat on it, it's going to adhere a little bit better.
Okay. What's the advantage of, Jim Bashirs is asking, what's the advantage of powder coating over paint?
Well, there's several, but the biggest thing is that powder coat is way, way more durable. So it's used in a lot of industrial coatings. It's also used in a lot of even baby toys, kitchen utensils. I mean, things that you want to have a really, and there's different types. There's urethane, enamel. I mean, there's a bunch of different types, but they're just a much harder. I mean, if this had been painted and it was going in and out of my cup holder for a year, and that's Andrew, that's his cup, this would be all scratched up. But this is a gloss finish. It's transparent, and it still has a very, I mean, it looks like it's new, really. You can't, except for the fact that it had been dropped. And the funny thing is, it bent the metal, but the powder just stayed true. It didn't fall off or break or crack. And that's how you know you've done the powder coating right. If it's done wrong, it can chip. I've actually got one right here. So I was in a rush on this one, and can you see the chips on the bottom?
Yeah, the corners.
I don't know how that translates, but this one I did too thin. I was in a rush, and I didn't cure it fully, I guess, or over cured it. I'm not sure which, but it just wasn't done well. And I think
Andrew wants you to show us the dent. What does that mean?
the dent,
Yeah.
it's right here. I don't think it'll show up on the camera, but it's right here. Can you see it?
And it didn't look like it chipped off.
That was a reflection. Yeah, it's just a reflection. So any other questions?
What
Chad,
would happen to the powder coating if you were to leave it in the oven too long? Would it start boiling or anything like that?
It just gets really hard. It probably will get a little brittle. I actually fell asleep one time trying to get a bunch of Mother's Day orders out last year, and I was doing a vinyl mask on it, and I fell asleep. And when I woke up, it had been in there for 3 hours. The cup looks okay, except for where the vinyl is. It's baked on, and it's like it'll never come off. But actually, I take that back. It might be coming off. We're stripping it, so. But it was on there. It was baked on really well.
Teresa Meadows wants to know, is there any really prep you need before you coat a cup, like wash it or put alcohol on it or anything?
So when I first started powder coating, we were extremely retentive about this. I mean, we did everything. We denature alcoholed it. We hit it with a propane torch, which I've moved somewhere else. We were really, really careful. And as time went by, we found that we really didn't need to be that careful. These cups tend to be pretty decent. We usually just hit them with some simple green and a paper towel, just wipe them down real good. And we're just using, to clean them, we just use like the blue Scott paper towels because they're supposed to be lint free. And I've had pretty good luck with them. I don't see lint on them. If I do see a piece of lint, obviously I'm going to take care of that, but I very rarely get any lint on the cups.
Donna Presley wants to know, how much is the cup holder he made and how do you get it?
They can contact me at mancrafting.com. They're about $65.
And then Steve French from Wooden Stuff wants to know what kind of powder coat you're using, enamel or urethane?
I have a bunch of different ones. Most of them are enamels.
Enamels?
Mm-hmm.
So you can use both basically.
You don't want to mix them, but other than that, and you want to use the same gun. So like if you're using urethane in one, then always stick to urethane. If you're using enamel in the other one, then always stick to enamel. But I would say 90% of mine are enamel.
Well, I got a good question.
Actually, no, I'm sorry. Mine are polyester. Most of them are polyester.
Polyesters?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have to clean the gun?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I should be doing that right now. So I'll do that. I'm going to mute so you guys can just watch that and you don't have to hear the cleanup. But
do you blow it off with an air compressor or something?
Yeah, I blow it out and I vacuum it. So I'll go ahead and do that. You can watch.
Give you guys an idea how durable powder coating is. We powder coat our sports wheelchairs for basketball, rugby, things like that. And they take a huge hit, beating, and the finish usually stays put.
Yeah, I've had some stuff that I've owned that's been powder coated before, and you're right. It takes a licking and keeps on ticking, so to speak.
Yeah, but like I'm thinking about having my racing chair done. So
nice. I got a lot of parts on my Chevelle all powder coated as well.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing the biggest thing about this powder coating that I'm seeing is if his limitations are to the size of the oven, because if he had a oven that was 6 foot by 6 foot, he could actually powder coat something bigger.
Yeah.
I had the frame of my car done and they had like a walk-in oven.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same thing they do with the chairs. It's a big room size oven.
Right. Well, that's what I'm thinking is that you would use the same you know, basically same process. You got to electrify it and spray the powder on it and let it stick. You just got to have a big enough oven if you're doing rims or whatever. I don't think you can get a car rim inside one of those ovens or the oven that he's using.
Yeah, kitchen oven. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I might get one in, but
You figure all those. The same process. I mean, when he does them, are they all comparable to each other? Like the Yeti and the Arctic, and then the Walmart brands. Are they all comparable? Is what I want.
I've heard a lot of stuff about that. I know people that the Walmart brand of what is the Ozark Mountain or something like that.
Ozark.
Yeah. I've got, my son has one of those, and he also has a Yeti, and he's done some tests on. Hold on.
All right.
Chad's holding up. Chad.
All right, I'm back.
Okay.
His compressor was running.
Yeah. But anyway, and he's done his own tests on those. And to be honest with you, the Ozark from Walmart, the ice lasted just as long as it did in the Yeti. So.
Yeah, I actually do a couple of different comparisons between the Ozark and the Yeti. And there was a lawsuit between Yeti and Ozark on several different issues, but from a performance standpoint, they're identical. You're not gonna go wrong buying an Ozark trail. Or what I'm actually using for this video, I'm using the Sam's Club version, and I like it for several reasons. Let me grab one and I'll show you what I like about them.
In fact,
all made in the same Chinese sweatshop.
All right, so this is a Sam's Club, and if you look here, it's got a raised imprint with their logo on it.
That's Walmart.
yeah.
This is Walmart's. It's the Ozark Trail. And the other thing I don't like about them, you see this band on it? It's actually glued to the cup on the inside, so it's almost impossible to get off. I mean, they should be sued for that. The last thing is they have a regular cap, and that's actually the same design as the Yeti, where it's just a drinking opening. It's mostly covered. And then on the same, essentially the same company, but this one's their Members Mark brand. If you look here, if you're customizing them, the nice thing is there's absolutely no raised logo on this anywhere. And the other thing I like about it is it has an opening and closing lid, which for me is pretty critical because I'm walking in and out of my car, my work, and I'll carry this a lot of times under my arm. And on the way in, I drop something, and then I get covered up with
Coffee.
whatever I'm drinking.
I got a little something to show you. This little can of stuff right here, if I can hold it up or you can read it, that'll take that thing off. The wife uses it all the time to take that band off.
Okay, so it's coming out of the oven.
Nice.
I don't think you
It's
heard.
got an 80% cure on it, and it's got a nice shine to it.
He didn't hear you, Russ, but I'll get back with you and let him see that.
I'll put it in the inside
Yeah,
chat.
I want him to see that also.
Okay.
Okay.
And you can see these cups. They're like 290. They're dropping quick, but you get up here towards the top, 300 degrees. I have to let them cool down before I can do anything else with them.
All right, Chad, Russ has something he wants to show you about that band. Here, I'm going to lock Russ on.
I don't know if you can see this. Can you?
Let me click on you. Hold on. Vinyl letter removing solvent.
He says that'll
Right.
take that
That
thing
takes
off.
it. My wife uses it all the time to remove those bands.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Thank you. Where do you get that from?
Hang on. Where do you get it from? You can order it online, she said.
Okay.
She gets it locally here, but it can be bought online.
Okay. Thank you.
And it's Albert Kim. I'll put it on the inside chat.
Cool.
Chad, how cool do those need to be to where you can start working with them again?
I like them to be around 120 before I start messing with them because It's just not comfortable.
Yeah, and by the way, Russ, your microphone is still breaking up real bad. So even the people in the chat are saying that. So, and guys in the chat, just to remind you, I'm only the person really kind of watching the chat. So if you ask a question and I miss it or it scrolls by, don't forget you ask it a couple of times until I see it. Nobody will say anything, and that's perfectly fine.
What size compressor would you recommend, Chad?
You know, for powder coating, it's only 8 to 10 psi, and I would say probably 90% of the time we only used a 3-gallon compressor, and it was sufficient. The downside is it's going to run a little more frequently if you're doing a lot of them. And if you're just doing 1 or 2, and you happen to have a little pancake compressor or hot dog compressor, it'll do the job fine. I actually have upgraded to a 60-gallon, and it's hidden behind this wall here, but it's not going to come on probably again during this cycle, hopefully.
Back to when you were cleaning the gun, I noticed you sprayed the air through the tube and reversed the airflow through the gun and vacuumed out the bottom. What would happen if you did not clean the gun out?
The next color, which I'm putting a gloss black through it, would come out with little specks of white in it.
Okay, but what I'm trying to get to is, so it wouldn't ruin the gun if you ran the blue through it and just hung it up and left it overnight and come back tomorrow, that wouldn't hurt it at all.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't hurt it. No, it is, as long as you don't have real high humidity or anything.
Okay. What I'm trying to get to is, so in other words, it's a little bit different, because if I was shooting oil-based paint in my spray gun, my air, and left it overnight, yeah.
Completely different. Yeah. As a matter of fact, there's many times, you know, one or the other of us will come in and, you know, we send a picture, dude, you forgot to, you know, put away the powder, and it's still on the gun and we haven't, you know, finished up. So yeah, absolutely doesn't hurt a thing to leave the powder on there.
Oh, your friend Andrew, he's doing pretty good over there. He's over there in the chat actually answering all their questions.
He wants to be a part of it.
Andrew, what's his name? Andrew Skelly?
Yeah.
Andrew, I really appreciate that that you're over there in the chat answering everybody's questions. Thank you very much. And I'm not saying that sarcastically. It helps me out a lot, because it's hard for me as one person to run the show and talk to people and actually see all the questions in the chat. So thank you.
So just to give a shout out here, this is Greg Mead. He's a friend of mine. Our kids are same age. My youngest is in 6th grade. His son's in 6th grade, and so they go to school together. And we met. We both volunteer at the school, a group called Five Forks Fathers. And one day we were sitting there recruiting new members. It was last summer, and one of the other fathers was actually, I think I had this cup, and he was talking about it, and he said, "Oh, you got to show that to Greg." And I had met Greg a long time ago, because our oldest kids were in school together, and we were both a part of that organization when they were in middle school. But I had left for about a year because my daughter was in, you know, high school, and my youngest wasn't in middle school yet. So when we came back and we're talking, we're sitting there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've been watching these videos about powder coating," and he's like going on, and I'm just kind of letting him go, you know, just waiting it out. And finally I said, "You mean these?" And I pull up my channel and I show it to him. He's like, yeah, those are the ones. I said, "Yeah, that's my channel." And he's like, "No, it's not." I said, "Yeah, no." He's like, "No, really?" So he pulls his phone out just to prove that he'd actually been watching my videos. It was kind of one of those funny moments where, where, you know, how small is the world?
Yeah, and how he's standing there right next to you and don't realize it's you.
Yeah, well,
he's uglier in person.
I think part of it was because Andrew, in that the one that's like the most viewed of all of our videos is the how to powder coat a Yeti, and I was operating the camera most of the time, so Andrew is the one on screen most of the time. So I think that was probably, how close are we?
We're there.
Cool. I'm gonna do this one first. That's good. All right, so you can handle. It's not 100% cured, but it's cured enough that we can get away with it.
Man, I've never had a cameraman and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, I knew there was going to be a lot of movement, so I wanted to make sure that people could see everything. All right, I'm getting into my wheelchair, and I'm trying to prevent this cord from getting in the way.
Oh, by the way, Andrew said he's almost positive all the stuff y'all have is polyesters.
Yeah, that's what I said, right?
Yeah. Well, at first you said enamel.
I was wrong.
And he said you're also responsible for leaving the paint in the gun or the powder in the gun all the time.
He would say that. Okay, so this is a vinyl decal that I made with just a simple vinyl cutter. I happen to use a Cricut. For home use, there's a couple other brands like Silhouette, and people like what they like for different reasons.
I have a Cricut, love it.
Yeah, it's been good to me. I don't have any complaints. So normally I have this completely weeded when I put it on. I'm trying a little bit different method today. I may regret it, but we'll see.
What is weeding?
What's that?
Tell people what weeding is.
Yeah, so weeding is removing the parts that you don't want. I'm also kind of doing a new technique today that I haven't really done before. So this particular person is kind of known for this logo, and what he does with it is he takes a spray can and he sprays all of his tools with it. So you see it in all of his videos.
Yeah. You had to put his name on here, didn't you?
I did. Well, he was, like I said, he powder coated the hammer. And if you're listening to his podcast, you'll know that conversation included a whole thing about stepping on each other's toes. Well, I don't want to do this because you're stepping on my toes or whatever. I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to step on your toes. And I was like, don't you people watch my videos? I knew they don't, but it was just kind of fun.
I watched it.
Well, just for the record, Jimmy did subscribe.
And you've got a channel.
Replied to my tweet.
He didn't subscribe to my channel.
Well, you got to
You've
call him
got a
out.
channel.
Call him out on Twitter. It'll work.
No, I met him in Atlanta last year at the woodworking show. He's a real nice guy, and he's actually kind of a crazy guy too.
Yeah,
we had a lot of fun. Very personable, very personable. As far as he's done the Discovery Channel, but he was very personal, very nice.
Well, you would think I should have pre-weeded this. It's working fine on weeding this on the and weeding is just like I said before, removing the areas.
Hey, we got even though it's an hour show, if we go over, no problem.
Okay.
My show, the 1 year anniversary, went 3 hours.
I'll just finish it over here and you do the other.
All right, so I'm gonna have Greg help me out on the weeding here real quick. Here's the other one. That's for the back. Jimmy's mantra is if it looks straight, it is straight. So if it's not straight, I'm okay with that.
Can you mix different colors to get blend your own color? Like, could you mix red with yellow and make a color with a powder coating? I don't think it would work.
It usually turns out like mud.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It just looks gray. It
I haven't even done powder coating, but I could kind of figure that out on my own.
Yeah, I could. I could always open up my shop vac and show you what it looks like.
Yeah.
No, I think actually, if it's just two colors, kind of what you're going to see is more. I'm actually doing a technique here, so I want to bring this down. All right, so this is what's called the hinge method for people who don't do this kind of stuff very often. I've taken what's this called?
The backing paper.
The backing paper. Well, no, the top part, the transfer paper. The transfer paper, and it's on the logo. And then I'm going to take the backing off while this is hinged in place, so that when I put it back, it should be pretty much exactly where it was when I tested it. so that it gives you and some people may recognize that.
Well, clag it.
I went for the two big ones. I apologize. I apologize. And David, if you do ever watch this, I wasn't trying to leave you out, but I knew I had limited time, and your logo has 3 colors, and I couldn't figure out how to make it 2 in time to do it for today. Otherwise, I probably would have attempted it.
Do you want this crooked or straight?
Yeah, you're shameless promoter.
It's crooked. I think it fits with his.
I forgot to tell you, I charge for every promotion you do on my show.
Oh yeah? How much?
You can't afford
one cup with a logo on it.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate that.
My logo's
Have you ever done a black cup by any chance and purposely left white in the gun to do like a star effect?
It would wear out quickly.
I have not, and it wouldn't. The white would eventually overcome the previous color, so it'd probably just be like a little bit of a mess.
Oh, right, okay.
So there's really no shading then. It's whatever's on top is what's going to show.
Yes, I wish my customers would understand that. They're like, oh, what can you do?
Yeah, that's kind of like the way it is with vinyl.
Basically, what you see here, I'm going to cover this with a different color.
orange.
And obviously, it's Bob's colors. It's going to be an orange. And then I'm going to, after I cover it, I'm going to peel out these parts so it's going to reveal the white underneath. So this is just a mask.
Right.
Bob,
Gotcha.
Bob flag it.
Right. Yeah, I said that's kind of like the way it is with vinyl too. When you're doing vinyl lettering, I mean, you can't get a shading in vinyl lettering.
It's exactly. That's a very good analogy.
It's not airbrushing, you know.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Now there are people that do airbrushing and then they'll cover it with the.
You ready? How much?
And they can, if they run it through an airbrush, they can get some shading, Chad?
Yeah, you can. Well, not the powder. So there's people that actually will. Where's my camera?
Paint over the top of it.
There's people that will actually use an airbrush, like the airbrush paint, and then they'll put a clear coat of the polyester over it. So, well, this
they'll airbrush the cup.
This may look. This may not look good. This is actually a low temperature clear coat that I can put on powder.
No, that's not.
So they're actually airbrushing paint and then top coating it.
With powder coating.
What's that?
So they're actually airbrushing with regular paint and then top coating it and powder coating it.
Correct.
I didn't know they had clear. That's good to know.
Yeah, the clear will lock it in and protect it. So even if I'm doing, actually I've got some over here that are done. I'll show you one.
That opens up a whole different aspect of it that you can paint and then put the color coating over to protect your paint.
That could be a game changer potentially, right?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so here's one. It's a sparkle coat. Can you see that? The gold glitter in there?
Yeah, that looks awesome.
All right, and then this on the back side. It's got a little dirt on it. That's what the customer wanted. And so the vinyl will come off. If I just put this on a coat, on a cup, eventually it's going to get abused and the vinyl's not going to hold up. So to make the vinyl finish more durable, we put a clear coat on it. And
so that's actually vinyl on the sticker?
Uh-huh. On this one.
And that vinyl stays?
Yeah, it's underneath the clear coat, so it's.
But the vinyl, so is it a particular different type of vinyl than what you buy normally that will take that temperature of being in the oven?
We use a low temp clear coat so that a low temp clear coat so that it's
Okay.
It doesn't burn the vinyl. The vinyl can handle probably 350 degrees.
Okay.
If you use like Oracle 651, I'm using an indoor vinyl for this because it's temporary and I'm pulling it off really quick. So the temperature is not going to get really up to 350 or 400 degrees on these. So that's a little bit different. But on the permanent situation, we want to use what's called an outdoor vinyl. And there's different brands. Probably the most known one is Oracle 651. And that particular vinyl, it can handle a little bit more. But if you have a white or a red or yellow and you go above 350 degrees, you're going to ruin it.
Okay.
As long as I keep it under, I'm good to go. Okay. I almost messed up because I'm not used to doing this on live camera. So I'm going to put this back in the oven. I'm going to get this cup up to about 200 degrees, and then I'm going to pull it out quickly. And that's a process called hot coating. And if I didn't do that, what would happen is I'd get very thin spots. It wouldn't take the powder very well, and it would end up being, you know, something I have to redo. This particular gun can do second coats, but you have to do this hot coating in order for it to work.
So you're taking it, put it back in the oven, bring it up to about 200 degrees, then taking it out and they're going to shoot it.
Correct. Yeah.
How come you're not sticking the other cup back in there with it?
Because I'm doing it later.
Okay.
So that one's going to be orange, and I've got black in this right now.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
So
you'll have to do that one and then change the color and the gun and everything, and then hot coat that one.
Yeah, it's real time. Like this is a time critical part of the process, because if you leave the cup into the oven too long, it'll start to get too hot and it'll mess up the vinyl, or it'll shrink the vinyl. There's a lot of different issues. So you'll get vinyl movement if you leave it in the oven too long. And we just learned that for us, if we do around a minute, 40 seconds or so to 2 minutes, that seems to be about the sweet spot. We get the cup up to temperature. And these rules are not rules, but they're suggested time frames, and they work well with the particular type of part or cup that we're using now. If you're doing something else like a wheel, that time might be 20 minutes, you know, and you may not be able to use that same vinyl. There's actually a lot of like powder coaters that do larger stuff like wheels. They buy, you know, tons and tons of what's called high temperature tape, and it has a different backing on it than the regular vinyls, so it doesn't leave residue on, or it doesn't get affected by the heat.
Nice.
Man,
Okay, so I'm going to check, just make sure that I got enough. That's way more than I need, so we're good.
I'll get the time.
Let's see here. As you can see, a little bit of movement here on this. It got a little bit soft. Can you see that right there?
yes.
Yeah.
But it's Jimmy's, so I don't care.
Yeah. He uses spray paint, overspray everywhere. That's overspray.
Yeah, so I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till it cools down to about 180. And the reason I don't do it right now is it's at a temperature right now where if I hit it, that powder is gonna literally just glue right to it.
What's the temperature at right now?
Now we're down about 190.
How about up on the bottom?
It's about 220.
So how long have you been doing this?
Just over a year.
You can definitely tell that you've been doing it long enough. You know what the heck you're talking about.
He should have said, "Oh, I started this yesterday."
Well, it's just really easy to because he knows the exact temperatures and blah blah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can tell he's been doing it a while. Hello,
Good figured
TJ
out.
from over at TJ's Woodworking Shop. How are you doing? Desert Bum Woodworks is over there in the chat. Terry Woodcraft 67 is in the chat.
I'm getting a
can
little
kind
bit
of
more
flare.
brown than I want. So what I'm going to
Yeah.
do is I'm going to try to clean it up with. Where's my hair?
You do like a flare effect on it.
Here it is. my glasses? And again, this is all intentional.
What is it Bob Ross calls it? Happy mistake?
Yeah, I mean, it's the design, Jimmy's design is very, very specifically that kind of graffiti, messy Brooklyn kind of look, you know?
Yeah.
That's the intention. So now what I need to do now is I need to put this back in just long enough to.
Oh, so you're not going to coat the entire cup black then?
No, on this, because I want that, you know, that mask, the stencil look that he has. So that's
overspray and whatnot. Okay.
With the overspray on it, yeah. So
somebody said in the Terry, your friend was it Andrew? He you do not want to use your household cooking oven to do this.
I just said it.
Yeah, you can use a household cooking oven, just don't use it. Now the powder coating companies will tell you you can cook a pizza and a cup at the same time. The product itself's not that hazardous, but you know you're going to ultimately ruin the oven.
Yeah. That's what I was pointing out. You don't want to use your household. In other words, you can use a household oven, but it needs to be dedicated for powder coating.
Right.
Don't
And if
waste
you're
pizza.
I'm guessing the pizza grease might splash onto your product, you know?
So, let me see.
Your wife might not be too happy about it either.
My wife is trying to get me to tell you all that make sure if it's standalone, dedicated oven only to that.
Right.
Does that have any kind of a smell when you cook it?
Very mild, almost. And again, it depends on what you're cooking. So there's actually a product called Wrinkle Coat, and that one is a polyester, I'm pretty sure. And it does, it is a polyester, but it does have a little bit of off gas when it gets to about 25 or 30 minutes of being in the oven. You'll start to smell it. But
are you typically wearing a respirator, Chad, or not really?
No,
not bad, huh?
I usually have this system set up so that it's pulling everything that direction. I just happen to be leaving it off simply for audio purposes.
Right.
Yeah, that's what when I scroll saw, I have a fan sitting over like my right shoulder blowing across in front of me, and then I have a box fan with a filter on it where everything blows in and sucks into that. So I don't use a respirator. A lot of people do use respirators for scroll saws, but I don't.
Yeah, I figure if you got the airflow going past you, you're good, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I've got it comes over my right shoulder, goes across me into that other fan. So I've actually wore really nice shirts and scroll, and I didn't even got any dust on my shirt.
And if you want to tie this into woodworking, I did build this out of wood.
This is very, very interesting. Very interesting. I am very happy that you
Melamine's almost woodworking.
Yeah.
Well, there's 2x4s. I upcycled these from Home Depot. I found them in the lumber aisle.
Nice.
Lying on the floor.
Actually, I might have upcycled this from actual scrap.
Hmm.
I think I repurposed the wheels too. They were from something else.
What's the biggest thing you've powder coated?
What's that?
What is the biggest thing that you've powder coated?
Pretty much this.
Okay.
I haven't delved. I've got a very harsh limitation right there. You know, that stove is a hard limit. Now, I have made friends with a guy who has a powder coating oven that is stand up and walk in, and he said I can come over any weekend I want and use it. So we're probably going to play around with some other stuff. And this is a guy who's also got a $5,000 powder coating system, so I can play with that as well. So
where do you live at abouts?
I live outside of Atlanta. It's a small community within a very large metropolis. So it's called Lilburn, and I'm right on the edge of Lilburn, Snellville, and Lawrenceville. So like a lot of you guys probably know Steve Carmichael. He lives in Lawrenceville, which is just a stone's throw from here. He probably lives 2 or 3 miles from here, maybe 4. And Greg lives between Steve and me, so he lives about 2 miles, 2 miles from me.
I'm just trying to get a shipping cost of my intake manifold sent over to your house.
Okay, so now we're down about 120, so I can touch this.
Always thinking, aren't you, Patrick?
The big reveal.
Always, buddy. Got to keep your brain moving.
Dude, that's sick.
Yeah, that looks
great.
good.
Nice.
He is gonna love it.
That looks good.
Oh, yeah, I guess it has his name on it. All right, I'll give it to him.
my name's Jimmy today.
It could be his for $14.95 plus shipping.
14 is like $79 for one of these, buddy.
Yeah.
Those are awesome. I love how that came out, actually.
Yeah, I do too. That's really cool.
That white is just glowing beautifully.
Hey, Andy, who's the artiste now, buddy?
Exactly, right? Well done. That's brilliant.
And for a second there, he thought he messed up.
I can quite easily see.
Now, your oven is electric, correct?
What's that?
Your oven's electric, so do you think there would be any difference or any problem with using a like a propane oven?
Some of the larger systems are propane.
Okay.
Natural
I can
gas.
quite easily see Seymour make better on one of them.
Well, I'm just thinking that,
What do you think?
some people, I like it. Looks great.
All right, Jimmy.
Some people might not have, like, in their shops, let's say they use a little small shop outside and wanted to try to do this. They might not have the capability of having like 220 in there to run an oven.
All right, so turn right over here, Greg. I've got a solution, and I actually have a video on it. You see that charbroil smoker?
Yes.
Yeah.
I found it. There's a link to it in my, it's an affiliate link in my description.
Those make really good ribs.
All right, see, I almost made a mistake there, guys.
Uh-oh.
Almost.
You almost
You gotta remove the paper towel.
Got to pull that off.
Let me ask you about fingerprinting. When you're pulling them vinyls off, are you worry about fingerprinting or anything?
Not really. It's not an issue.
Good.
So anyway, back to your
Charbroil King.
your charbroil smoker.
Yeah, so it's I've been looking for a 110 solution for a long time, and I actually came across somebody else at Powder Coats. When I was at Liquid Powder Coat Systems, they were using these. They had 2 of them side by side, and they were putting a ton of cups through them. So I was like, man, that's awesome. I had looked at smokers, but normally smokers only get to about 250 degrees. So I'm not, I was like, I just wasn't interested in them. But then they had found this one particular system, the charbroil, and it gets up to 400. And that's all you need. I mean, 99% of the time. And really, I was talking to the guy who does a lot more powder coating than me. He says that he pretty much cures everything at about 380. So he just leaves it in a little bit longer. He leaves it in about 20 minutes. So, these things aren't like, super scientifically critical. There are a little bit of, so if you went and you checked your temperature and it was at 425, it's not the end of the world. You just turn it down. If it's at 380, don't worry about it. Just turn it up a little bit and let it go a little longer.
Tell them why you put it back in.
Yeah, so the cup's back in, and right now that one's going full cure. So I can start cleaning up and get ready to do my second color on the second cup. So I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to go off audio. If you have questions for me, just talk amongst yourselves for a minute, but I don't want to blow you guys out.
Man, that's awesome. Really good. I haven't seen any questions over there. The Red Smith's over there in the chat. He's the only one I've seen that popped in recently, but pretty awesome. Yeah, I was thinking about, because some shops are very small outside, away from the home, and they have 110 out there, but they can't run 220. So that would be a pretty good idea to use those that cooker.
Yeah, portable too. Yeah.
Yeah. So very good. So while he's cleaning that out, we're going to run over, by the way. We had like 68 people watching at one time. So now we're down to like about 35. Oh, and let me mention this real quick for those of you who watch or are over in the chat. If you wouldn't mind, give me a thumbs up out there while you're over there watching the show. We've got 23 people gave me a thumbs up tonight. We had 68 people watching, so I need people to hit that little thumbs up button for me.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe. Yes.
The mantra of every YouTuber.
Do you have any change?
Yes. And Greg, by the way, is working on his channel. Greg's he's got some serious creds. He's building a CNC right now. He's blushing, but he's building a CNC. He does Fusion 360. He's helped me with my laser when I've had issues. He does Photoshop, like amazing. He's a photographer, a professional photographer. He Adobe Illustrator, another master at Adobe Illustrator. I mean, I send him a logo that I'm struggling with, and he can whip it out like in 30 seconds and send it back to me. What else do you do?
Electronics.
Yes, he's yeah. So he helps with our school. They have a STEM program, and they do the robotics, and he's heavily involved in helping with that. And as a matter of fact, didn't our team do pretty well because
We're waiting to hear about super regionals.
yeah, so they're going to super regionals or something. That's funny. All right, Bob Claggett. All right, so I gotta just let that cool down.
What color orange you got?
It's called Harley Davidson orange, and it's called an orange peel finish. So if you look on my Instagram, the most recent picture, I believe, or the one just before the one I did giving a hint about what was happening tonight, I actually had a cup that color, and it'll probably look a little different because the logo that I did on that cup is stainless. So I used my laser to etch off the stainless, but this one's going to have white behind it, so it's going to have a little bit different color. If you held them side by side, you'd be able to tell, but it's going to be orange, like Bob's logo. I'm thinking that's going to work too much. Does that look like Claggett orange to everybody?
So this is going to be this is a double coat. That should never wear off.
Oh man, it's too much fun right there.
All right, so yeah, so if you look here, see where it's thin? My
Yep.
pen's working. Just kidding.
Yeah.
I figured that was enough contrast that people should be able to tell.
Yeah, it looks perfect actually.
So I've completely covered up everything on here. All right.
I have got to try this.
So I'm guessing the cups with the plastic liner inside would be no good for this.
That would be a no-go.
Is anybody else smelling a wormhole or what do they call them, rabbit hole opening up? I feel like my life is about to change.
Life.
I see all your tools being powder coated.
Exactly.
Well, pimp your hammer.
Pimp your saw blade.
And your table saw.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, totally, yeah. If you're not
Figure
being sponsored by them, pimp it. Oh, I mean,
Pimp it. Yeah.
color
Pimp
code
it.
it. Put your own color.
I should have powder coated my saw. I just finished restoring.
I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a video on me making a 4 foot by 4 foot oven so I can do real big stuff.
Make it out of wood.
Yeah, make it out of wood.
Pallet wood.
You can use 2x4 steel studs,
Studs.
and then fill it with insulation, and just get a thin skin of steel on the inside and outside. And with the oven that I saw that was really big, it was probably about equivalent to the length of a tractor trailer, but maybe at 5 feet and about 10 feet wide and 10 feet high. And he was powering it with a propane heater, like one of those Mr. heaters.
Yeah.
Like a salamander?
Was you meant to set a clock for that other cup?
What was that?
Was you meant to set a clock for that other cup because you didn't do it?
No, I didn't. Yes, I was. Thank you.
Solid work, Jamie.
Yeah, good catch there, Jamie.
He's on it, buddy.
On this particular cup, what I'm doing is I'm allowing it to go where it starts to flow. So yeah, the timer is just for me to remind myself to look. It may not be the exact time. Typically about 2 minutes to 2.5 minutes, and it should have started to flow.
Andrew said you need an earth ground to do this second coat. Almost impossible to do the second coat without it. Okay, what does he mean by earth?
So an earth ground. Matter of fact, we just installed one. We just installed one over at Andy's house yesterday, or Friday. Was it yesterday, Friday? Yeah, Friday. And basically, an earth ground is an 8-foot post that you hammer down into the ground, so that as the charge builds up on the cup, eventually it's going to stop taking anything that you're pushing at it. It's just going to flow around the cup because they're going to be equal charges. So you got, a high charge on this side and a high charge on this side. It's not going to accept it. It's like a magnet. So what the ground does is it actually pulls that charge away and dissipates it to the soil. And with an earth ground, you can get a heavier coat. Otherwise, you're going to get just terrible second coats.
So basically, you're talking about you want to have what I would refer to it as a grounding rod.
It's the same thing they use for grounding your electrical system for the house.
Right. You just want it closer to the shop so that you can run a line to it directly into your machine, in other words.
Yeah. I don't know what the reason is. I can't give you a real reason. Maybe Greg knows. But piggybacking it on the electrical system for the house just doesn't seem to work as well. I've had people that have done it, and they've ended up having to go with the full grounding rod separate.
Right. Well, a lot of people don't know, too, when you hook up a chain link or you hook up an electric fence.
You see that? It's got a little bit of a gloss to it, but it's not fully cured. And that's just enough to hold the powder on the cup while I peel off that plastic or the vinyl.
Nice.
But when you're hooking up an electric fence for animals, if you don't run a grounding rod into the ground right where your machine is at and connect to that, your electric fence won't work near as good. If you want a good shock, put a grounding rod next to your electric transformer, and it will definitely increase that voltage whenever they touch that.
Yep. Don't pee on the line.
Yep. Don't pee on the line. That's for sure. The
So
reason I know that is because we used to live on a farm and had a lot of animals, so we were using electric fences a lot of times just to separate them when they were grazing. It's cheaper to do that. You run 2 or 3 electric wire fence across and separate them than it is to actually put up a big fence.
So Chad, even though that's not fully cured, you'll be able to touch it once it cools down a little bit without leaving a fingerprint or something?
Yeah, it's partially cured, so it's almost like a plastic coating. So it's not gonna, as long as it's cool, it's not gonna get fingerprints. Or you could, like, I'm using this tool. I'm using this tool to pull the vinyl off, and I can scratch it. So I got to be careful when I'm pulling it off. But it's got to be soft enough that I can pull that vinyl out of there, but hard enough that when I'm touching the cup, it's not messing it up. And
Okay,
actually,
I get you.
I usually wear a glove when I'm doing it.
So you really can't smudge it too much then, huh?
Doesn't sound like it. But
Yeah,
I see,
I wear one
'cause
of these.
that coating has got to be soft enough for that vinyl to come through it, right?
Correct.
It's like epoxy after the first little bit, but before it cures, right?
Yeah, it's like epoxy. How sometimes when it's just partially cured, it's you could touch it. It's not really sticky, but if you pushed on it, you could tell it's not cured.
Right. Cool.
This is like waiting for paint to dry. This is the woodworker equivalent.
Way faster though.
It is a little quicker, yeah. We got about 30 degrees to go before I start messing with it. Some people will pull it off at this temperature, and they just have steadier hands. I'm 50, so I don't have steady hands anymore.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Use my fingernail to pull this off.
Yeah, I'm 58, and I got to noticing that my hands aren't near as steady as they used to be.
I need to have my miter gauge powder coated.
That's not out of control at all.
No, I think it's up to par now,
You know what I'm going to powder coat orange? Is my spanner tool for my grinders.
So you don't lose it?
I mean, who came up with the idea that black would be the proper color for a spanner tool?
Yeah.
Well, I painted my table saw orange.
It's black, it's gone. It's into the abyss. Bright orange, no problem.
Yeah, I painted my table saw orange the other day. That way I could find it.
Nice.
That'd be appropriate.
Neat.
Are you able to see this?
Yeah, I'm skipping for the glares, not.
I see a chip at the corner.
That's a Pringle.
On the lip.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well. What do you expect for free?
Yeah, Bob.
Better quality than that, buddy.
If you don't like it, you just call me. I'll send you another one for.
If you don't like it, I'll take it.
Just the demo model.
This is I'm under the pressure of the live audience mistakes.
Oh, we're live, are we? Oops.
Nothing like having a bunch of people looking over your shoulder.
Literally. As my daughter would
Literally.
say, literally. But she'd also say, if she was here, that I'm legit.
Looks killer.
Cool.
Nice. Yeah.
Dude, that's sick. It's cool.
Yeah.
Way cool.
All right, so back.
See, it actually, it's not showing up quite as orange on the screen as it really is.
Oh, yeah.
It's showing up a little more grainy because of the lights.
Orange always lies to you, man. This thing is amazingly bright orange. It looks like, actually, no, look on the.
Looks like your shirt, buddy.
On that one, it looks okay. Yeah.
On the screen that we're watching YouTube, it looks pretty okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Timer for that one.
It kind of looks like a Chevy orange that I use paint-wise. Duplicate color.
When I was doing the green screen one time, I had I used some LED. I had to take the LED lights out of here. The reason being is because when I was doing the green screen and I had an orange shirt on with the LED lights, it turned my beard blue.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's where Bluebeard came from.
Yep. I mean, it was like.
Anybody want some ManCrafting cola?
Nice.
I think I'm kidding. It's in here. Boom.
Wow.
You did a beer can or something?
I think it was a beer can. I didn't want to advertise. I'm not sponsored by them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did. Was doing.
Aresta calls it a logo something.
I was doing doing some my video for my intro or outro or whatever, and I got to looking at the monster, and it looked like a little blue haze, but I didn't pay attention. But when I went and stuck the SD card into my computer and downloaded it and brought it up on the editing software, my beard was like a light blue with a glow.
Now, normally, if I wasn't on a live deal, this would be cleanup time. But I'm gonna leave this here for tomorrow when Andy comes.
I bet he appreciates it.
Bombs. I know you're gonna drop one, Andy. Go have fun in live chat. Andy and Patrick have something in common. They would place their entire lexicon with one word.
Is it just me, or does Chad totally have a Nick Offerman vibe going on now?
Kind of does a little bit.
And Billy Bob Thornton voice.
Mark Deckard over there just pointed out that that orange also is a Florida Gator orange.
That probably would work for that. Yeah, they're Auburn. Yeah.
I think in Texas.
The big reveal.
Texas Longhorns is orange like that too.
So Oompa Loompas.
It would also
Oompa Loompas. What? That's funny.
What's funny?
That looks great. That looks great, man. Sign the
And
bottom
Snooki.
of it.
Home Depot.
That's cool.
That's hot.
That's nice.
Pick it up and show it to us.
Let me give you a couple minutes. How far are we into the show?
We're 23 minutes.
We're good,
Over
buddy.
time?
No, over.
We're over 23 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah, we're good.
We're good. I told you, if we go over, I'm not worried about it.
Okay. Well, I don't want you to lose. I bet you we lost some people when they went to go watch Izzy or something.
Yeah, we lost some. We still got about 35 people watching.
I don't think Izzy's on tonight.
Yeah, Izzy's not on tonight, but a lot of people just, hey, the night I had Sean Rubino on, he did that Cherry Blossom. We almost had a 2-hour show with him.
Yeah, that was
Wow.
Yeah, but Sean Rubino's a pimp, so.
Probably had a lot of ladies on that night.
Yeah, probably.
Possibly.
Opa said Tennessee orange, and then Steve French said that's a Home Depot orange. Yeah, there's a lot of things out there that.
Yep.
Sponsored by Safety Cones.
Yeah, sponsored by Safety Cones.
Ken,
I got
Ken,
one over.
Orange.
Got one right there.
See you next week. See you, Ken. Glad to have you. Thank you for being here tonight.
Hey, so check this out.
Yeah, that's cool.
Is that 3D
yeah.
printed?
Yeah.
The spinner thing's pretty happening right now, eh?
Yeah.
God, it's everywhere, isn't it?
But how many people have their logo on a spinner?
You know, I'm going to put a bearing in the middle of one of my 7¼ inch saw blades to make that a spinner.
Big hands.
Hey, get one of those little.
I think there's already one with a spinner on it. You just turn it on.
Well, motorized one's no fun, really.
Harbor Freight has those little saws that have 3-inch blades. Get one of those little 3-inch blades and put a spinner in the center of it.
Oh, yeah, the Roto Zip blades.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
All good. We got.
Oh, you got started.
It should be done by now. It's been about 6 minutes. Don't overcook my pizza.
Yeah, really.
No tip for
Dang it,
you.
I'm hungry.
No tip for you.
Hey, my wife just brought me
Uh-oh.
when y'all weren't looking. She just brought me home some red velvet cake.
Oh, man.
Come on, man.
yeah.
That ain't cool.
You
That
saved
ain't
enough
fun.
for the whole class.
Yeah, did you bring enough for the whole class?
Yeah, if you can't share
Exactly.
it.
You
No.
can have my bit, Russ. I'm diabetic.
It's my wife. She brought me some cake. Sorry.
Fine. God.
It's my wife.
Never apply to the teachers, do they?
Nope.
Well, I want to tell you, awesome, Chad.
Well, I hope
Pretty
you
cool.
guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, awesome information, awesome show. I mean, really, really good. Your video quality has been superb tonight.
I have to give a shout out to my tech guy, AV, audiovisual, Greg Mead of Maker Life. Write that down. It's not anywhere on the internet yet.
Maker Life.
.com.
Makerlife.com.
But it's not live yet.
It's what?
Not live yet.
It's not live yet, but it is. It's ready.
I was I was
Tell
gonna
him
go
to
buy.
swing the
I was gonna
camera
go buy
around.
the domain.
He's one of those people that believes you have to have a bunch of content before you start. So he's building up his content and getting ready to put it all out there at once. So when
That's-
they find his first video, they don't just go, "Oh well, whatever." He's got one video.
let's see what his face looks like.
Yeah,
so
tell
we
him to
can,
swing the camera around and let's see what he looks like.
Tall and ugly.
So,
Anybody on this group chat here was in Boston. He was there for the Making It 100. So it's appropriate that he's here now, as I do.
We should go to New
I
York.
hope to get to see y'all guys at the woodworking show in April.
Yes, Atlanta.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Hey,
I'll be there.
That's starting to shape up to be in the barely survivable category, I believe.
Yeah.
you're coming to America, Jamie?
Now, when he says that, that's a positive thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry. Thanks for the translation.
A fund for anybody who might need to be bailed out.
Yeah.
And yes, to answer your question, Patrick, Jamie is coming to America.
I'll fly out on the 29th of March.
We're actually going to have the background music when he walks in.
I'm going to be standing up on a plane going, rocking all over the world. And I like.
I don't think you're going to make it to America, buddy.
Nope.
let's see
They're
your
going
face.
to get over the ocean and think, oh, that door does open.
You ain't getting past the gate.
Yeah, customs is as far as he'll get. Immigration will say, no,
The whole I Like Tomato Stuff group will be going, there he is. That's the
Here's
one.
your,
Get him,
ticket.
get him.
here's your ticket home, buddy. Thanks for trying.
I'll clean it up better later.
Start swimming.
TJ's Woodworking Shop signing off. Good night, TJ.
Yeah,
See you
brother.
later, TJ.
TJ.
All right, TJ.
TJ.
Thanks, everyone, for hanging with me so long. I apologize.
No,
I
that's
really thought I could get two of them completely done.
So
Yeah,
now that
some of this stuff that we do cannot be done in 1 hour, so to speak. So we have to go
Well,
over.
I didn't count on your intro.
Oh, yeah. Well, no
I
big
could have
deal.
had one done, maybe. But
well,
I just,
now that we're all the ones left, you can make each of us a cup with our logos on it.
I'm
Yeah.
working on it. I've gotten Izzy done. I've gotten Jerry's garage. He's got one. Of course, they paid for theirs.
Just wait, I'll do my own when I get
You're
there.
breaking up. You're breaking up. Something I can't hear you.
Your internet went bad real quick.
I think hashtag blame Berkey and Seymour makes better on it. What do you think? White on black or black on white? Black. Yeah, I think black with white.
Yep,
Yeah.
I like it.
I'll make my own when I get there.
Can be done. Maybe I'll wait till you're in Atlanta and just give it to you.
Oh, sweet.
It'll be hot here, and it'd be nice to keep your beverages cold.
Fill it full
There
of
you
rum.
go.
You can have a cup and bowl at the same time.
Yeah. I didn't like the way that sounded over the internet.
Me neither.
It didn't sound good live, I bet.
No, that was 2 girls, 1 cup.
Wow. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, I got it.
We got 9 minutes left.
So we're just waiting on that 1 cup.
Yeah. And you know what? You've seen it. So if you guys want to bail, I mean, you know what it's going to look like. I'll post a picture on Instagram as soon as I have it done.
What is your Instagram name?
If you need to go, I understand.
Your Instagram name?
What's that?
How many more minutes do you think it's going to be?
Instagram is ManCrafting.
And crafting. Go there and give him a follow today.
Somebody asked
Yeah.
I got 8.5.
I'm already following.
8.5.
There's a good picture of me there with Chad stickers.
Scary picture. Another one.
I'll leave it up to the chat section. Chat section, do we wait the other 8 minutes or do we close out?
What time is it right now?
It's 6:30.
9:31.
Yeah, it's up to you guys. Take a vote. On the island or off the
I'll
island?
wait the other 8 minutes. That's fine. I'll just wait to see whether we still got 38 people watching.
I got nowhere to go.
Who's that?
Me.
After all this talk of pizza, I gotta go get a dang pizza.
Yeah. So that was the finished one I did last night. It's got a
Nice.
little more of a filter on
Steve
it.
Brent says, might as well wait it out. Donna Prusy says, I'm good. Katie Dotson says, I'm good. So, yeah.
If you're watching the replay, hello. The Harley Davidson one looks pretty bitchin' on your Instagram page.
I like it. That's for my next door neighbor, Neil.
I just
I
shot
gotta
you
go
a
to
follow. I don't even follow Jamie for some reason.
That's going to be a week or two
Okay.
before I see him.
I want to hear that story.
Sorry, Jamie.
That's all right.
So, a real quick story while we're waiting on this. Shelly Cole wasn't on here tonight, but something happened to her in the last few days that I thought was pretty interesting, and for a warning to those people. I wanted to say it earlier, but we'll also bring this up next week, and that is she used this video off of YouTube, and it was a really simple video with confetti falling and like shaded hands waving or whatever in one of her videos. And the video is almost 7 months old, I think she said it was, or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So, and all of a sudden, and the guy posted that you could use it free, no royalties, blah, 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 blah. And she even wrote on his YouTube channel about it and asked him, and he gave her permission. Well, and several others, I guess, used it also. Well, he went back and erased those from his YouTube channels and contacted YouTube and told YouTube that Shelly was using his copyrighted material without permission. And also, to try to extort money from her, he PM'd her and told her if she would give him cash, he would take the YouTube thing off. And what YouTube did is they react very quickly on this stuff. They went ahead and blocked her channel. She can't get on it to upload videos or do anything. And it also gives her a strike. And if you get 3 strikes, you're out. You'll never put up a YouTube video. So she got blocked from YouTube. She's got a strike against her. And this guy's trying to extort money from her.
It's
So,
just I think
would
I think
say
it's just temporary, right?
that
Under investigation.
enough to unstrike it.
Yeah, well, we found out that it actually is not the guy's video. Eloy, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. And I was looking also, we found about 3 or 4 other sites that claim that it's theirs, and they have it on theirs and even have it on their website. So we told, Eloy told Shelly about that. I told her about that. So it obviously it's a fraud. So I think she's got a way of fighting it. It's just a pain in the butt that her YouTube channel's locked and everything else. So.
Well,
Are you still able to go and watch her videos?
Do what?
You're still able to go watch her videos, though, right?
Yes, you can watch her
So
videos.
she can still get.
She lost access to it temporarily.
Yeah.
On the video that of the video that she used, it said in the title of the video that video that she used was free. It basically said free animated something or other.
Sounds like a setup from the get-go, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Video is I'm real careful about. I don't really pull any video down, but the big one is music. They will hammer you on the music.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I already hit
that
on
being
music.
said, real quick, when I first started this, I got Corel Video Studio Pro. I think it was X7 or whatever. It's been 2 or 3 years now, but anyway, and it came with the free music in the package, and I would use their music from Corel Video and post it on my in my YouTube or in my video and post it on YouTube, and I would get flagged by YouTube for using copyrighted material. So I would have to send them a form saying, no, it's not copyrighted. I have permission. It came with Corel Video Studio X7. And 24 hours later, they would okay, or 48 hours later, they'd say, okay, yeah, okay, and take the thing off. But after the second time, I was like, this is just too much crap, so I'm not even going to use that music anymore.
Yeah, I pretty much have relegated myself to just
too for using music. Sorry. I got hit for using music twice. Now I only use what's on the free YouTube page now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you have to be
play that
careful.
game
Uh,
again.
somebody I know of had the radio in the background on one of their videos, and got their video flagged for that.
Yeah.
I got that.
Yeah,
That happened to me.
You got to watch out for that.
Hey, Chad, just out of curiosity, what's the most amount of cups you've run through in a day if all hell's breaking loose?
We've probably done 25 cups in a day. It depends on what if it's a custom cup like what we're doing here, they take longer. But if it's just like if I'm just coating it red, I can batch those because I'm not having to change out colors and any of that kind of stuff. So like if I just do a bunch of powder coating of the same color, it's actually not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Does the one oven limit you?
Andy's still in the chat?
Is Andy? I don't know if Andy's still in the chat. Wooden Stuff, C. French said that he just had that same thing happen to him with the music, and he was using Power Director and used their free music, and it did it. And he also said that he's never got locked out. They just gave him a copyright thing.
Yeah. Hey, does the one oven limit you on the amount of cups you can do per hour or whatever?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I can hold 6 in there at a time, and I've got a bunch of stands, so we rotate through them. We could probably, I mean, if we really were like just hitting on every cylinder, I could probably get, if it was just one single color cups, I could probably get 6. I could probably get 18 through in an hour, but that's not realistic.
Another question. So if you put one color on today, could you go back tomorrow, heat it back up, and put another color on, or do you have to do the whole process at once?
We've done that. It just depends. Yeah, you could definitely do that.
Chad, Andy's still here, or
Okay.
Andy, I mean.
Andy, what's the most cups you've done in a day?
He said, I've done 18 custom cups in about 4 hours. I was rocking.
Yeah. Yeah, those are good days.
I'd say so. That's cool.
All right.
Ta-da!
You can see the texture.
All right.
Shiny.
And
Nice.
dirty.
See the texture in there?
Can you all see the texture? Is it coming through?
It looks shiny to me.
Yeah, it just looks shiny.
It's got a
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That angle right there. Yeah, that angle, I can see the wrinkle in it.
Yep, now we can see it. And that is definitely like an orange peel.
Looks great.
It's cool, isn't it?
That's really, really cool.
Yeah. Oh, it's like an anti-slip wrinkle texture.
Hey, Bob
Yes.
Plaggett, I know you didn't watch this, but you're lucky.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Jimmy, pimp your cup.
Pimp your cup. You need to start putting your own logo at the bottom of these things.
I did it on this one. It doesn't have the name in it, but it's kind of a complex logo. I could do it with the laser, but it's a little tough to do in vinyl. It wants to throw the letters everywhere, which is, I mean, that's really the reason I got the laser, is so I could powder coat my own cups or laser etch my own logo on anything I want. So this is a camouflage. This is a hydro dipped cup. It came pre-done.
Yeah, those are cool. Hydro
And I
dipping.
just laser etched off the thing so you could.
Hydro dipping is a whole other category of coating.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I do appreciate you being on. Chad, thanks to your friend, what is it, Greg?
Greg, yep.
Yep. Thank you, Greg, for being the
Anchor light. That's
And
3 logos.
thank you to Andrew over in the chat section for helping out and answer all those questions. I appreciate that very, very, very much. So, but we've still got a good crew, almost 30 people watching right now. So very good, but it's time to get out of here. Thank you again, Chad. Awesome show. Awesome show. I mean, in the top 10 and possibly the top 5 I've ever done. I mean, it's really great.
There you go.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Incredible, Chad.
Merry Christmas, Jimmy.
Well done.
Very well. So thank you again, Chad. Thank you all you guys out there. Opa's Woodshop, Katie Dotson, Donna Presley, Steve French, Tom Spillane, all you guys that have been in the chat tonight. And thank you, Andy. Thank you, Patrick. Chris, John, and Jamie Page. Thank every one of you for being on the panel tonight. I appreciate it very much. We only got one thing left to do, and we took so much time I'm not going to get. Well, let's do it before we get off here. Chad, you got one more thing you got to tell us. What is the most, we're going into woodshop confessions real quick, and that is, tell us what the most boneheaded thing that you've done in your shop that after you did it, you went like, why the heck did I do that?
Oh, you know what? I built a buffer stand, and the plate for it has about 125-pound plate, and I had it on top of a dolly, and I was going to slide it up like this to allow it to slip down so I could put it on the ground. And when I went to lift it up, there was a plate at the top that the buffer attaches to. When I lifted it up, it slid down with all the full force of that weight. It crushed my thumb sideways, and to this day, you can still tell this thumb is like.
Oh yeah.
In real life, it's real noticeable, but that's probably one of my. I don't know. I've probably done a lot of dumber things, but that's the one that comes to mind. It's the freshest.
Well,
there was a time where I had so many grinder hits on my hands that, you know, I would just hope that one had healed before the next one started.
Well, bless you, my son, and we'll not have any more accidents in your shop.
That would be nice.
All right, guys. Once again, thank all y'all for watching, and thank you guys for being on the panel. We only have one thing left to do, and that is just give me sawdust, lots of sawdust all around me and everywhere. I like it flying all around my shop and even in my beard and hair. Good night, everybody, and God bless.
Good night.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Adios.